If we look into the book of Sirach, chapter 24, we see this, and this
famous
is the wisdom
Falcon
of God
prophet.
speaking, was in a pillar of cloud. Moses, following the instructions of God.
Unfortunately, they were published by IKEA.
It says, then the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle, because the cloud abode upon it. Throughout all their journeys, whenever the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, but if the cloud was not taken up until the day that it was taken up.
I had no idea so much of the providence depended on precipitation.
The tabernacle by day. The idea of the cloud, the presence, the transcendence.
You would think that God would make them privy to some type of 4-day forecast.
The Old Testament writings. So again, this idea of the cloud being a manifestation of the Spirit. Now,
in fact, it's a manifestation of Jeff Bezos.
Of bread
and make sure thou dost sink the back up,
into the body and
so that thou documents shall not be lost, but be forever accessible. Verily I say unto thee, use Amazon.
To transform these gifts. In the glory cloud, and we don't often
in the glory
see
cloud
this with our physical eyes. In fact, we never see this with our physical eyes, but we do see maybe a cloud of incense, perhaps.
Of incense. Oh, yeah, me too.
People don't like that. They're incensed by that, if you will. Sense to them, but not to me. I love incense.
Me too. Me too. Especially when it smells like weed.
Tradition. So when Jesus says, "You will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven,"
I'm sorry.
And that comes from Daniel chapter 7. We're going to look at this.
Where is he coming?
More. It's so huge for understanding Jesus.
Oh my God!
But, this idea of presence, the parousia, at the end of days.
That's right. The Lord has come.
Something to keep in mind there. I am the Alpha and the Omega, says the Lord God, who is and
thine be no beta cuck.
Who is to come. All right, so the Alpha and the Omega, what is that all about? These days,
Andrew
people
Tate.
talk about eating enough omega-3s, maybe eating enough eggs, and
maybe trafficking enough women.
About or alphabets, breakfast cereal, but this has nothing to do with breakfast. I am the Alpha and the Omega. This has to do with the fact that these are the first and last letters, of course, of the Greek alphabet. And that is God's way of saying that he is the first and he is the last.
I thought it was God's way of enumerating which version of COVID we had to get vaccinated against.
I am the first and I am the last.
That's confusing if you're in a queue.
There is no God. So this is very interesting because it says of the Trinity, if you will. I am the first and I
Carrie
am
Ann
the
Moss.
last. Besides me, I am he. I am the first and I am the last.
Again, that's a circle.
The foundation of the earth. For God identified himself to Moses in the burning bush incident in Exodus chapter 3.
Right.
God revealed his name to Moses, Yahweh. And Yahweh can be
no way, Yahweh.
I am that I am.
No way, Yahweh.
Who I am will be. God identified himself to Moses. And again, this whole
as a big bush.
As
a hedge. A holy hedge.
It is my Father who glorifies me, of whom you say that he is your God. But
made whole, a glory hole.
I know him.